Welcome to our meeting. Today we have our BTO integration lead with us, Lindsay, and we also have our safety director, Josh.
Hello.
So we want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. We know that you guys are busy and you guys have a lot of things going on. We do appreciate you joining us tonight. We do have a few interesting things that we want to talk to you guys about. And the main focus on today is going to be accidents. We're going to be talking about the things that you need to do if you get or you happen to be involved in an accident. We're going to be talking about a few other pointers on defensive driving. We're going to be talking about accident prevention, and we're just going to touch in a few topics for today. But before we start, I do want to start with a few reminders. Just like we do on every meeting, we want to let you guys know that PDP Trucking is here to stay. It's really important that you guys know that we believe in our model. We do know that the self-dispatching is different from any other company out there. So we do strongly believe in that, and we're not going anywhere. With everything that has been going on, we do believe that the model that we have set up currently, it's definitely gonna stay. And we do offer a few things, that are different from before, but still, we are strongly dedicated to you guys, to you being a self-dispatch owner operator and running your own business with PDP. We want to remind you guys about the referral bonus. We do have that $500 in total that you get. You get $250 on the first 60 days of that owner operator being with the company, and then you get the other $250 when that owner operator has been with PDP for 90 days. This is based on the first load day. So if you call the office and let us know that you actually refer an owner operator, we're going to be looking at the day when he first booked that load, when he initially went out the road, and then we're gonna base that date to calculate the 60 and the 90 days for you to be able to get that referral bonus. Send them our way, refer them to us, give them our website or give them our number. We are always welcoming self-dispatch owner operators in the fleet. By joining today's meeting, you do get the opportunity to win the $300. So we are taking down the names, and we're going to be doing roll call in about 10 minutes. So you guys that are here are going to be getting that chance of winning the $300. You also get the 3 points added to the BTO report card. We always talk about that because it's really important that you guys know what it is, but at the same time know that by joining this meeting you get 3 points added to that. So those are 3 positive points that can help you in the event that you get a roadside inspection, in the event that you get pulled over and you happen to have a violation on that. These points will help you because, as you know, within PDP you cannot have more than 50 points on your BTO report card. If you reach those 50 points, there is nothing we can do. Your contract will be terminated, and we definitely don't want you guys to get there. We're always encouraging all of you guys to maintain your vehicles, to keep your logs up to date. We're always, calling you, constantly messaging you on the different things that you can do in order for you to prevent having a bad roadside inspection. But we know that things happen, and so we offer the opportunity for you guys to get 3 positive points just for joining on this evening. Our meetings are every month. You guys know that are usually in the middle of the month. They're at 6 p.m. and we have been starting to call on the day of the meeting just to remind everyone about it. And you also get that email in the morning or before the end of the day, just with that link details for you to be able to join. The most valuable owner operator award, the MVO, that is coming up this month. Peter and IT team are working on the last details for that. We have been mentioning that for a while. Safety performance is going to be 2/3 of the measurement that is going to determine who's going to be getting that MVO award. 1/3 is going to be based on financial performance. So as you guys know, safety is definitely one of the main priorities that we have here at PDP. We want to make sure that all of you guys are safe. We want to make sure that you guys are in compliance, and so this MVO is going to be based on safety and financial performance, like I mentioned. The first place is going to be getting $1,000. Second place is going to get $750, and then our third place is going to be getting $250. So we're gonna be sharing those details with you guys. It's probably gonna be sometime at the end of this month when we have the results. And so once we have that, we're definitely gonna be sharing that with you guys. That's actually it for the reminders on this meeting. So without further ado, I'm just gonna let Lindsay start on the first subject that we have for you guys.
Okay, so the first subject we're going to talk about is just the accident process. I know there's kind of been a little bit of confusion on that. So when you first started here at PDP, you should have received an accident kit. In the accident kit, it's going to have 2 accident reports, 1 incident report, and then 2 chain of custody forms. If you don't have those, please let us know so we can go ahead and email them out to you. That way you have it in case something happens. If you are in an accident, make sure you pull over immediately. Start taking pictures because accident scenes can change very quickly. Make sure you fill out the accident report completely and send it to the admin email. Just remember, don't admit anything, don't argue, and do not promise anything to them. A DOT recordable accident is a fatality, injury, or tollway. And I'm going to go over in case you have one of those. If you do have a fatality, injury, or tollway, make sure you take a drug and alcohol test immediately. If it's after hours, and the after hours are open from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., if it's after 10 p.m., no matter what time it is, you still need to go and take a drug and alcohol test. And that is your responsibility to get it completed. If it is during business hours when you get in an accident, we can help you find a place that's open and we can help you get there if needed. If we do set up a drug and alcohol test for you for an accident, if you do fail to do that, it will result in an automatic refused or failed drug test, and then you have to enter into the SAT program. You'll have to complete that program, do a back to duty drug test before you are able to drive again. And that program is kind of a lengthy process. If you do have any questions regarding accidents, please always reach out to us. We're here to help you guys. We're not here to make you guys feel at fault or anything. Please just let us know, communicate with us. I do want to go over for an accident, if you're on the road and you know somebody hits you or you hit somebody, that's when you need to do the accident form. If you hit somebody's mirror or a car is parked and you hit that car, that's when you need to do an incident report. So please, if you're not sure, either one is fine, but if you are in an actual accident, like a severe accident, please just do the accident report. That way we have the witness's information so we can get it over to insurance. Again, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Josh is going to take over on the next part.
Well, we're going to go ahead and do a roll call just so that we can make sure that we have everybody's name. So if you don't hear your name, please let us know so that Lindsay can get you into the list. We're going to do it a little different today. We're going to try something different. We're going to do a wheel of names. So we're going to be entering all of the names into this website that we found. We thought it will be, pretty cool to do something different for you guys. I know there has been some speculations when we write names, on the paper. Some of you say, oh, well, you didn't write my name, or my name wasn't in there, or maybe, you're picking the names and things like that. So this way, all of you guys are going to be able to see, and you're pretty much going to be looking at the screen, looking at the list of names, you'll see, once we click on it, it starts spinning and then it calls your name. You are one of the winners. So we're gonna do it that way. Let's just go ahead and start with the list.
Okay.
Names.
I'll go ahead and move on with the meeting. Next thing we want to talk about is defensive driving and accident prevention. The first thing I want to hit on is defensive driving. First off, good evening, everybody. It's been a long time since we've been on with you with the Zoom call for the monthly meeting. I think it's been a few months now. It's good to be back on a Zoom call and meet with everybody again. Again, I'm going to talk about defensive driving and accident prevention. The first thing I want to talk about is defensive driving. Reckless driving is accurately defined by the United States law, and that is reckless driving is a major moving traffic violation that generally consists in driving a vehicle with willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or the property that's surrounding you. So as we can tell, most of us would not have any grave intention to be a reckless driver. However, here at PDP Trucking, what we're looking at is for all of us to be able to see a decrease in the future for accident prevention. And one of the things that aids in an accident is reckless driving. I want to pull up a statistic. We receive a monthly email by a company called Idyllic. They've done a study on reckless driving, and they say through their research that reckless driving violations stand out by increasing a driver's risk of a future crash by 114%, meaning that you've either gotten a reckless driving violation in the past, or you're currently a reckless driver and just haven't gotten caught yet. However, by driving recklessly, you're 114% likely to get into a crash. That means you're more than likely to get into an accident. What do we want to do in order to prevent reckless driving? And so I want to talk to a few points on those today. One is minimizing distractions. One of the main focus areas of driving is being able to take care of both your tractor and your trailer as you're going not only down highways, but also through city streets, major downtown metropolitan areas, and so forth. Big things that can be distracting is cellular phone devices. They can be anything that could have fallen to the ground. Try to minimize trying to pick something out. What's worth on the ground that you need to pick up that can't wait until the next time you stop, in essence, whether it be a stop sign, an exit you might take, and so forth. The next thing I want to talk about is keeping yourself healthy. This is very important in any safety sensitive position, whether you're a truck driver, big machinery operator, and so forth. But eating right is very important. Being able to exercise and get your heart rate up at least for 30 minutes, at least 3 times a week, is very important to be able to minimize you feeling tired. It's ironic how our bodies work, that you have to put out effort in order to gain more energy throughout the week, but ironically that is one of the processes that our body needs. Another thing I want to talk about is expect the unexpected. As you are driving down the road, as you're encountering your every day-to-day interactions, make sure that you're thinking about what could be coming at me at this point, that I need to create buffer zones for every aspect of my current location. Whether you are trying to create a buffer between the car in front of you, buffer between cars behind you, avoiding cars that are on the shoulder, and so forth. Expect the unexpected. The next thing we'll talk about is anticipating changing conditions. I think all of us in the years that we have experience operating large vehicles, we know that conditions can change very rapidly. I'm not even talking about weather or road conditions, but I'm even talking about like construction zones. I think we've all come upon a construction zone that you're driving 65 miles an hour, you're driving 70, even potentially even 80 miles an hour down the road, and you come upon a construction zone that starts doing these drastic winding curves where your truck's crossing over lanes and so forth. Construction zones can be very hazardous. And so I want to encourage you as you approach construction zones, especially winding ones. Typically they put signs out there letting you know that you're about to go through a curve. And so go ahead and put on your hazards. Let people around you know that you could potentially be going across lanes moving forward through this zone. Also slow down. If you're going 80 miles an hour and you're about to go through a construction zone and they don't have a prior reduced speed coming into a construction zone, go ahead and be a safe driver and expect that unexpected moment where you're going to be needing to slow down coming into that area that's high risk. Another thing I want to talk about is knowing your space cushion. What kind of distance do you need between you and the driver and drivers ahead of you that is sufficient for every situation that could arise? And so I looked up a formula today. I found out that if you're going 60 miles an hour and you're carrying 80,000 pounds, how much actual force of pounds are you carrying were you to touch an object on the road? So in essence, every bug that hits your windshield is coming at a force of 440,000 pounds in its face. And that's probably why we see a lot of bug splatter on our windshield every day. So I thought that was very interesting. Another thing we want to think about in knowing your space cushion is how many seconds is the vehicle in front of you. I know a lot of safety gurus across the nation will say that you want to maintain a certain amount of seconds of space between you and the car in front of you. How do you gauge that? You say the best way to do it is to say, okay, the back tire of that car in front of me passed that stripe in the middle of the road, and then my tire hit the same stripe 7 seconds later. So that's how you gauge how much seconds is between you and the vehicle in front of you and you. And the conservative safety gurus say that you should keep 12 to 15 seconds between you and vehicles in front of you. The more liberal view is that you want to keep 6 to 7 seconds in front of you. I think there's a rule of thumb out there when you go to driving schools, is that for every 10 miles per hour that you're driving, you should keep 1 second between the vehicle in front of you and the vehicle you're driving. So you're looking at, if you're driving 60 miles an hour, that's 10, if you divide that by 10, you get 6, so that's 6 seconds that you need to keep between the vehicle in front of you and yourself. So know your space cushion between you and the vehicle that is in front of you. The next thing I want to point out is looking further ahead. As we have the opportunity to drive, we all know that for every condition we're in, we want to look at different areas and different aspects of the road that we're driving in. So whether it's nighttime conditions or daytime conditions, whether you're in snow, whether you're in a storm, whether you're approaching a storm, you want to be able to see hazards that could potentially be coming at you, whether there's police on the side of the road that you're going to have to potentially either slow 20 miles per hour below the speed limit, or make an actual lane change over to the lane next to you. We need to be looking farther ahead in order to be able to keep a proper scan. Which brings me into my next topic, is scanning intersections. Anytime you're approaching an intersection, it's quality to get into good practice that you look in every direction before crossing that intersection. Mainly because of emergency vehicles that could be crossing that intersection that typically won't stop at any intersection based off of a light or not a light, but also running traffic stop signs. But also vehicles, passengers that might be, not even passengers, I'm sorry, but just regular drivers that are driving through intersections not paying attention, typically late at night. I know within the past few months we've had an incident where it was midnight. We have one of our BTOs driving through an intersection just here in Texas, and they didn't see the car going 50 miles per hour through an intersection and not slowing down, and so obviously there became an incident due to that result. But so definitely ask yourself before you enter into a red light zone that you're actually making sure that you are approaching with caution, approaching with safety, and that you're actually scanning all directions of the intersection to make sure that it's safe to go through. Another thing I want to point out is going the appropriate speed. The speed that's actually posted on the side of the highway isn't necessarily the appropriate speed that we should be going at all times. And that's just taking all the hazards that are possible, that are on the side of the road, in the middle of the road, crossing the road. We could be looking at animals crossing. You could be looking at cars that are just riding the shoulder that could be throwing debris into the middle of the road. If the speed limit is posted at 70 miles per hour and I have a vehicle that's on the shoulder, do I actually want to drive that speed knowing that I'm approaching that vehicle, whether it's occupied or not? And so know that your speed limit may be less than the posted speed limit in order to not become a reckless driver, in order to be truly safe. Another way that we can really avoid reckless driving is try to avoid having to back up at all costs. I know when I was going through driving school, one of the main things that one of my instructors said is that you can avoid backing up or missing a turn by just taking 3 blocks, and you're already back at your same position doing what you want to do, versus having to back up and create a potential chaotic situation. The next thing I want to talk about is staying alert and keeping your mind engaged in driving. I know as a long over-the-road truck driver that we can get very distracted. We kind of at times want to be distracted, if we all want to be honest with ourselves, in order to help the day go by, help the miles be reduced and so forth. And so, but I want to encourage you that you're still operating an 80,000 pound vehicle that carries 440,000 pounds of thrust, and that you could potentially create a lot of danger really quickly by being distracted. So try to minimize your distractions. I think we all understand what distractions are and what can be a potential distraction while we are driving and operating our vehicle. Next, I want to move on into accident prevention. I think anybody and most people would probably say that accident prevention is probably very similar, if not the same, as defensive driving. However, I want to throw some caveats in there, is that not every person is a reckless driver, and defensive driving has its potential aspects that accident prevention doesn't necessarily also include. And so let me point out some of the things that I've been able to find through my research and my experience. One thing is truck driver fatigue. I know I've pointed out to a couple people over the phone, even recently, talking about driving fatigue, and I think a majority of one of the things that we talk about here at PDP in regards to fatigue is personal conveyance. We do have that limit of 100 miles in 24 hours for that personal conveyance, and we put that in place just because of fatigue. If you already did a 14-hour day and you're looking to complete your day with 100 miles, that's a long, hard day for a lot of people. And so having an attitude of I can do it, I'm strong, I don't feel like I'm vulnerable to that, could be a potential hazardous attitude. So just know your body, know what you're capable of, and try to reduce fatigue as much as possible. The next thing I want to talk about is overloaded trucks. If we were truly trying to prevent accidents, making sure that you're under the weight that you need and that you're equally weighted in your truck, so you're not having a tipping point. I know in school they really harped on not having a heavy load that had a lot of altitude inside the actual trailer itself. A heavy load that's lifted high in the air has a higher tipping point option, and so make sure that your overloaded truck is not overloaded. That really will put you in a place where you don't want to be going down the road. The next thing that we want to talk about in accident prevention is poorly maintained vehicles. I know that we've talked a lot since I've come on board with you at PDP about making sure that our vehicles are maintained. However, that's still the #1 cause for us getting points on our BTO cards and for us as a company. And so I really want to harp on making sure that your brakes are quality, that your tires are quality. I know there's been some inspections that even come in recently that were in the low 4/32 on the tires. We just want to make sure that within the next couple of months, even maybe in potentially the next couple of weeks, that we're getting those tires changed. Really keep an eye on what your truck's actually doing in regards to maintenance. The next thing I want to talk about is inclement weather. In regards to wind specifically, I know wind can have a major effect on this big sail, in essence, that you're taking down the highway, especially when you're empty. Wind is potentially very hazardous to semi-trucks, and I think we've all seen a little bit of snippet of a video here or there watching trucks tip over near a tornado or near a hurricane, or going through North Texas somewhere where they potentially have high winds. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're over 30 miles an hour, that you're in the wind category, that you're really trying to avoid those places. Try to find a spot on the broadside of a building downwind that you aren't going to be affected by the wind anymore. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. I know something that we don't want to hear in regards to trying to be accident preventative is move slowly. Especially as professional drivers, you've been over the road a couple decades already. You understand how your vehicle moves and so forth. But even still, at that moment, you realize that a lot of cases and a lot of incidences, you want to move slowly. Be methodical about everything you're doing. When you're coming and going from a truck stop, when you're pulling in and out of a drop yard, looking for a new customer's location, or backing your rig into a loading dock, move as slow as possible. You'll always be able to see the surroundings and understand the surroundings that are surrounding your vehicle in those moments. So it's important to be moving slowly. Another good pointer is getting into places that you've never been before. And a good point I want to point out in that is calling the customer for directions before you even arrive at the place that you're going to. For getting to your receiver or even getting to your shipper, make sure that you have a plan to get in and a plan to get out. Some of these places, I know I've been into some really sticky situations where you don't have proper planning, and you're trying to get into a spot where all these other trucks are trying to get into the same spot, and it really creates a hazardous environment that could create a potential accident, and we just want to avoid that. So call the customer for directions. They typically know where other truckers park, and going to the Walmart down the street isn't going to hurt anybody. So another point that is potentially helpful is walking into your delivery area and studying it before you even pull your whole rig into there. Knowing your surroundings and your environment before going in is a huge option for us as big rig operators, that you know where the trucks are, what the hazards are, what kind of space you have to work with, and being able to work with that space. Kind of the last point I wanted to be emphasizing in accident prevention is having a spotter outside your truck to get into a spot. Typically you use a spotter on a blindside parking option, or getting into a space that's super tight, but I wanted to encourage you not to rely on a spotter. Ultimately, you're responsible for your vehicle, whether you're going to hit a mirror or not hit a mirror, hit a corner of a truck or not hit the corner of a truck. That spotter is not going to take any responsibility for what you do with your steering wheel and the back of your trailer. So make sure that you're ultimately responsible for having that spotter out there and actually following what they're actually saying. It doesn't hurt to get out and still look yourself for any and every situation that you pull yourself into. Just to review what we've talked about, vehicle collision and injury prevention practices can include your driver behavior, reducing speed during poor weather such as fog, heavy rain, snow, or ice, maintaining adequate rest for yourself, avoiding the use of stimulants, whether that's coffee or energy drinks. Always wear the provided seatbelt that you have. Anticipate unsafe driving acts of other vehicles. Scan traffic far enough ahead to be able to react safely to approaching situations. And avoid text messaging on your phone or using other visual communication display devices while driving. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening for the defensive driving accident prevention portion of this. And we'll turn it over to Myra next.
Yes, so I just wanted to talk to you guys about the BTO report card. And the reason why I want to bring that up, again, I know we've been talking about this in at least the last 3 meetings that I've been on. We do report accidents on the BTO report card. And I want you guys to be aware of that because that can have an impact on your points. The system that we have currently in place for that is we go into that BTO report card and then we start putting in the details of the accident, whether this was an accident or if it's considered an incident or if it's just, you know, like a cargo claim, but we have to document it. So everything is put into the PDP site under the BTO report card. Anything that we put in there will determine whether this accident will have any impact on your points or not. Meaning that if we classify this accident as being preventable, you know, that will assess points to you. If we put in there that there were any injuries and how many, that can also give you negative points. If we put in there that there was a towaway or there was a fatality, that will also assess points to you. So I want you guys to be aware of this because I have been having to enter all of the accidents that we had in the fleet. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, like we said, you know, earlier, things happen and we know that, but if you're able to prevent yourself from being into an accident, then, you know, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this meeting. If there is an accident, just go ahead and do what you have to do at the scene, but then later on, go ahead and send that accident report. That's really important. It will help us report that to the insurance. It will help us get more details of that accident or that incident. It will help me particularly start putting that information into the website and give that information to our insurance as well. Get the police report. We always get the police report for every accident that we have in the fleet, and so that information in there will help me whenever I call the police station where I have to get the report from, or, you know, when I try and get that online. So it's really important that you guys send us that. So going back to that BTO report card on the PDP side, like I said, you know, it does give you points. However, if this accident is not your fault, let's just say that we got that police report and that police report clearly states that you were not at fault, then that accident will not give you any points. However, it will still be documented in there. It will still stay in there as an accident under your name. But again, if you're not at fault, you will not be having to worry about having any negative points on that. Cargo claims and small incidents here and there, they're also recorded. It all depends on what it is. It all depends on the severity of it. So that will actually determine whether you get points or not as well. But again, you know, once I enter all of the information, it will give me a total of the points that you have. We have been letting you guys know that way, you know, you are aware of what your points are currently with PDP. If you have any positive points and you end up getting into an accident and that accident gives you negative points, then, you know, the overall points is actually what matters. So again, you know, it's important that you pass those roadside inspections. It's important that you attend these meetings. That way, you know, you can start accumulating some of those positive points in there. And then once we get your actual score for the BTO report card, it actually counts positive and negative, so it will give us like an overall total, and you definitely don't want to be anywhere close to 50 because if you do, like we mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, that can lead to, or will lead actually to, contract termination if you pass or get to the 50 points. Going back a little bit into the accident, the things that you have to do during an accident, taking pictures is always really important, and that really helps whenever we are dealing with insurance. The first thing they ask is like, do you have pictures? Do you have videos? Some of you guys have the dash camera, and some of you have been able to provide that after an accident or incident. That has helped us a lot in the past. So if you guys have that and you can share that video, share it with us. Any piece of information that you have is crucial in order for us to be able to handle that claim in the best possible way that we can. We actually had a meeting with our insurance rep just a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about just specifically claims. What's the best way of us, providing information to them? How can we make sure that our insurance is fighting for you guys in the event that you find yourself in an accident and you're not at fault? What can we do as a company to help you guys in the event that somebody is trying to put a claim on you and this claim is just not your fault? So we talked about all of those different aspects of the claims. We talked about the process. We talked about, how we can make this process better. Insurance claims take a long time, and that's something that we already know. But as long as we are providing them with everything that they need and everything that they're asking for, then that claim is gonna go a lot smoother. So please make sure that you get the most information that you can. Take a lot of pictures, get videos if possible. Any information that you can collect for us will be really helpful when we're trying to submit that claim and when we're trying to make sure that you guys are not responsible for something that you're not if you're not. So it's really important that you guys help us on that sense. And I think that's all that we have for today. So we're gonna go ahead and do the wheel of names, which is actually the website that we are excited about. We're gonna be showing you guys that and just letting you guys see what we're talking about here in just a minute. Okay, so we got everyone's names here on the screen, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on it and it's gonna start picking names. Before we start, I do want to ask and see if anybody's got any questions, and if you do, please go ahead and unmute yourself for the question. Once you finish with your question, please go ahead and mute yourself back. That way there is not any interference if anybody else is wanting to ask questions. So does anybody have any questions? So that means we.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
It was regarding the profit and loss graphs and stuff that we have on the dashboard. Is there any way that you guys, when you do the fuel and stuff that shows our expenses, that you can divide the reefer fuel up separately instead of just putting it as a fuel expense?
Okay, we can definitely talk to IT about that and see if maybe they can go ahead and split that reefer fuel from the regular fuel. Maybe it is something that they will be able to do, so we'll get back to you on that. We'll ask and see if it's possible. We'll definitely make a note and mention it to IT.
Reefer fuel.
And that's Peter, by the way.
Is separate. Hello, everybody.
On the P&L report, Peter. He's talking about the P&L report. Yeah, he's talking about the P&L report, and then on the P&L report, it's actually all together. So.
Okay. Yes. That's a good idea. We'll split that up.
Okay.
I want to mention one more thing, though. Just a small correction, because the MVO reward, the most valuable operator reward, that's being pushed back a little bit because we've been having some hard time trying to integrate freight weights. We're on track of doing it, but we've had some setbacks. So it'll be just a little bit late because of that. But I'm excited about the results that's going to be coming out with that. So lane score and also the most valuable operator reward.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
If we it's about the BTO points.
Mm-hmm.
You say if you get like a ticket and you fight the ticket and they overturn it, do you get those points back?
You
find it taken off?
You can send the documentation showing that you got that ticket removed or it was dismissed, and we can definitely submit everything for review. And if we feel like it needs to be the points need to be taken off, then we will do so. But we do need documentation on that.
What about like the month when you pay little fees, the fines? What about that? We have reimbursed it? Yes.
If you're able to provide documentation like we mentioned, and that gets taken off, yes, you will be reimbursed. You guys know that we are all about submitting data queues in the event that you feel like the violations that you received during a roadside inspections are not correct or they're not legit. You guys know that we can always data queue that. It's up to the DOT officer that reviews that, whether this gets taken off or not. But if it does get taken off, if we are successful on that, then it will be taken off your BTO report card as well, and we have no problem on reimbursing you. However, it needs to be data queued, and it needs to be data queued with proof. So if you have any proof, go ahead and send it to us. If you get pulled over and they're saying that your brakes are under the measurements that is actually DOT, and you are not in, you're actually not thinking that they are correct. You're thinking that they're not, that they're still, over what is required. Then go straight to shop. Go straight to a repair shop where they can actually notate on a legit invoice saying your brakes are at this much. There is no need to replace them right now. So we have that, and we can submit that with the data queue, and most likely, that data queue will be approved, and those points will be removed not just from PDP, but they will be removed from your PSP as well. And that violation charge that we posted on your dashboard, we can reimburse it at that point. But it's really important that you guys understand that we need proof for that. Just saying that, hey, my tire was not blown at the time that I went through the scale, or it blew, or the tire was not low, or my brakes were fine, is not gonna suffice. We do need to provide proof, and that proof, if you submit it and you actually have something showing the opposite of what it says on that roadside inspection, then it will most likely be removed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, Myra, can you speak about the accidents? Those can be data queued also.
Yes, accidents can be data queued as well. We have data queued accidents in the past. However, every accident that is a DOT recordable accident, it will still have to be on our record. It will still have to be on you guys' record. However, if we do feel like this accident was not the owner-operator's fault, and we have a police report showing that, we're gonna go ahead and submit it for review. Again, it's up to the DOT officer who reviews that case to determine whether those accidents or those points are taken off from PDP and you guys' record or not. But if we have a solid cause for us to think that they can be removed, we're gonna go ahead and data queue it. And again, if you guys have any proof of anything that you want us to data queue, anything that you want us to submit for review to FMCSA, let us know, and we will most definitely do that. We're all about taking or taking points out of our scores, and we're all about lowering our CSA. So anything that we can do for that will help, we're definitely up for it.
If I could also just
I want to add also. Sorry, may I add, Lindsay, that we recently, or a couple months ago, we hired a safety consultant team that can help us to identify if some of the accidents, what exactly we can dedicate them or not. So basically, what I'm saying is that we also have safety compliance that can help us out to identify on how to best fight these undedicate. Am I right?
That is correct. Yes, we did hire a compliance team. They came and did a mock audit. They've been helping us out on anything that we feel like, we need to improve on, as far as like driver qualification files, as far as like maintenance. We have been getting their input on all of that. She was actually here today. She was doing reasonable suspicion training for the team that did not have that certification. So just so you guys know, we do have a lot of different things that we do here internally in this office, from customer service training to compliance training. We want to make sure that this team is here for you, that this team is actually knowledgeable in anything that we need to be watching for you guys. So you guys hire us for that reason, and we're making sure that we are the best that we can, and that we are offering you guys with the best customer service that we can as well. Just like I was saying the other day, we do believe in customer relationships, and we do know that you guys are our customers in a sense, because you are paying us for the services that we are providing. We ask everyone in this office to treat all of you guys with respect, and we do expect the same in return. So you guys know that we are always going to be here for you, and we're here to help you, and we just want what is best for y'all. Does anybody else have any questions?
Lindsay wants to do it, right?
Lindsay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good. The only thing I was going to touch on, if you get a roadside inspection and you believe that it's incorrect, make sure, just like Myra said, make sure you go to the shop and get those measurements or whatnot. But make sure you go right away. Don't wait a couple of days after. Don't wait a week after. If you can, go right then and there to make sure that when we data queue it, they'll be able to see, okay, the inspection was this date and they went right away, not a week later, because by then you could have got new tires or new brakes or something like that. So just make sure you go right away. That's the only thing that I wanted to add.
Alrighty, and the first one is Latrell. Yay! Woo! Latrell, are you here?
Yeah, he's there in the middle.
Alrighty, we just saw you waving. Congratulations. Alright, Latrell, we're gonna go ahead and remove you and continue spinning for the second winner. And the second winner is Eric Smith. Eric, are you here? Eric? Is he here? He was there earlier. He was sending messages. Eric, are you here? Yeah, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Eric? Okay, you just unmuted yourself, so you're here. Okay, alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next month. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Katie.
Get your down payment reimbursed up to $10,000.
What?
up to $10,000 on your truck purchase that you finance on your own. And sign up to drive as a new self-dispatched owner-operator at PDP Trucking Inc. We pay you 85% on the load after each delivery that same business day. At PDP, you have full control over how, when, and where you drive. Press Learn More or the link description below for all offer details.